Have you ever looked at an electrical plug and wondered why the metal prongs have those little holes near the tips? They're so small, so subtle, that most of us don't even notice them. And yet, once you do, you can't stop thinking about it. Why are they there? Are they for safety? Do they make electricity flow better? Or are they just some random design choice that engineers stuck with for no reason? Believe it or not, those tiny holes have a surprisingly practical history. So let's answer the oddly specific but fascinating question. Why do electrical plugs have holes in the prongs? Right here on History of Simple Things. Let's start with the obvious. Plugs could easily work without those holes. After all, many countries use plug types that don't have holes at all. But in North America, where the two-prong Type A and the three-prong Type B plugs dominate, the holes are almost always there. And once you notice them, they seem like an intentional design, not an accident. That tiny round cutout on each prong is there for more than one reason. And some of those reasons go all the way back to the early days of electrification. Back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, electricity was a brand new guest in people's homes. Wall sockets weren't standardized, and safety wasn't exactly at the top of the list. Plug designs were experimental and sometimes downright dangerous. People would screw light bulbs into sockets and then attach makeshift adapters to run other devices. It was messy and unsafe. As plugs and outlets became more refined, engineers had to think about two main things: safety and stability. How do you make sure a plug stays firmly in the socket without falling out? And how do you make it safer to use when millions of people are sticking metal into electrical outlets? The answer, in part, came from those holes. One of the earliest practical uses for the holes was simple: locking the plug into place. Many outlets were designed with small spring-loaded bumps or hooks inside. When you slid a plug in, those bumps would snap into the holes on the prongs, holding the plug firmly so it wouldn't slip out. Think of it like the click you hear when fastening a seatbelt. That click reassures you it's secure. Similarly, the holes on the plug reassured people that the connection was solid. Even today, some industrial or heavy-duty outlets use locking systems that rely on those holes to keep the connection stable, especially in environments where plugs might be tugged, rattled, or exposed to vibration. Besides keeping plugs secure, the holes also played a role in safety. Imagine sliding a plug halfway into an outlet and having the prongs barely make contact. That could create sparks, heat, and potentially fires. By having spring-loaded catches grip into the holes, the plug stayed either fully inserted or fully out, not dangerously halfway. It was a simple mechanical solution that reduced the risk of accidents at a time when electrical fires were much more common. Now here's something most people don't think about. The holes also make it easier and cheaper to manufacture plugs. When companies mass-produce electrical plugs, the prongs are stamped out of sheets of metal. Punching holes reduces the amount of material used ever so slightly, and when you're producing millions of plugs, that small saving adds up. On top of that, those holes make it easier to secure the prongs into the plug's plastic body during assembly. Those holes have another clever function: testing. Electricians and repair technicians sometimes use the holes to quickly check whether a circuit is live. Special testing equipment can hook into the holes, allowing for a secure connection without slipping off the smooth metal surface. It's not something most of us will ever do at home, but in the professional world, those holes are practical points of contact. Now here's an interesting twist. While almost every American-style plug has those holes, they're not legally required in modern designs. That's right, there's no electrical code that demands plugs have holes in the prongs. Some cheaper plugs don't include them at all, and they still work fine. So why do manufacturers keep adding them? Tradition for one, but also practicality. Those holes still make plugs easier to assemble, cheaper to produce, and compatible with certain safety outlets. In other words, even though we could ditch them, it's smarter not to. If you travel internationally, you'll notice that many other plug types don't have holes. European plugs, British plugs, Australian plugs, they're usually smooth. That's because different regions develop their own systems for plug stability and safety. In Europe, for example, plugs are often recessed into deep sockets, which naturally prevents them from slipping out. In the UK, plugs are famously massive and sturdy, so they don't really need locking holes. But in the US and other countries that adopted the two-prong design, the holes stuck around. They became part of the DNA of what we recognize as a plug. Like any small mystery, the holes have inspired myths. Some people think they let electricity breathe like air holes. Others imagine they help electricity flow better, as if electrons need to crawl through tiny tunnels. Spoiler, they don't. Electricity doesn't care about the holes. The real reasons are practical: securing, manufacturing, safety, and testing. But it's fun to think about how such a simple feature can spark so many wild guesses. So why does this matter? Because it highlights how tiny design decisions shape our daily lives. Most of us never stop to consider the small holes in plugs, yet they've silently made our homes safer, our devices more reliable, and our manufacturing processes more efficient. They're proof that sometimes the smallest details carry the biggest stories. Next time you plug in your phone charger, laptop, or lamp, take a second to notice those tiny holes in the prongs. They might not look like much, but they represent over a century of engineering tweaks, safety innovations, and cost-saving ingenuity. Without them, plugs might fall out more often, be more expensive, or even pose more risks. It's amazing how something so small can be so important. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.